Who cares? Let's do it. Bam! Hello, folks. Last time you saw this coach, it was not where it is right now. And one of the craziest features that we're gonna put on this RV is how it's gonna have that boom factor of a gigantic Burning Man tent that's gonna fold up, stow away, and roll up, pop out, and be everything everybody wants to talk about. So let's go show you how we're gonna make that happen. First off, right here we have our skeleton for our overhead cabinets. We got some more of our face frames going on, having all of the back structure that's going to go inside of this beautiful face frame, giving it support, giving it strength, but also keeping it lightweight that you need to do in an RV. This is our face frame right here for our refrigerator pantry area. It's got that nice clear finish on that beautiful alder wood. Over here we have two of our panels that are going to go up in the main ceiling, giving this customer that wow factor and that one-of-a-kind ceiling that no other RV is going to have. We have the slat set up, we have the holes drilled for the dowels. Over here we have the dowels installed, and then there is a spot where we're going to actually install an LED light strip on the background, giving it that crazy pop of color whenever the customer wants to hit that switch and turn it on. This is what we're going to use, and we're going to take 12 of these and we're going to explode a gigantic picture of a cherry blossom tree, and we're going to put it in this, and we're going to make it open up and attach it to the wall, so that way if somebody's going into the front to go to bed, they can close it off, giving you that late night privacy no matter what's going on in the back. Right here we have the overhead and the medicine cabinet that's going to go into the bathroom that we're going to try to manipulate to hide our exhaust vent for our steam shower. As you can tell, there's a lot of noise going on in the background because these guys are working hard to make it ready for our deadline. Normal situations, you have an awning and then you put sides on it. That way you have your little shade structure. That is not what was going to be adequate for this build. This customer wants to go out, set it up at Burning Man, and have this one-of-a-kind, big, loud, very inviting shade structure. Oh yeah, and by the way, we need to make it all fold up, go against the wall, find places to store all the poles, so that way he can actually get there, have everything he needs to get it set up, and try to also make it user-friendly so it doesn't take him 4 years to actually do the job. Now let's go over some of those details that are really going to make this shade structure happen. Normally this isn't going to be set up in close quarters, and really we got it all mocked up and kind of set up so we can measure and see how long it's going to be so we can get that canvas cut up and stitched into the right fashion. But what we have right here is we have a C-channel and we have aluminum tube that we actually milled down or planed down to where it fits inside of this tube that's going to be removable. This one's going to be removable with a pin and a locking nut. And then this one over there is actually going to go inside that C-channel. This one's going to fold in right next to it. And then the whole thing is going to come over and stow into this green line. So to make all that happen, it took a lot of tries. We added blocking up there in the top so we have structure inside for where we're going to mount those legs and keep them strong. One of the other things that we need to do, because he's going to go out to Burning Man and the floor is not going to be exactly even, we have adjustable feet that are going to be able to go up and down to try to make this shade structure be whatever he wants it to be, wherever he's at. One of the other things that the team came up with is they wanted, after we came up with the idea of putting them all out, they wanted to try to make it as strong as they could, so they came back and added an overhead support that's going to make them tight this way instead of just tight this way, giving it strength and durability to try to handle all the wind and all of the environment that's going to happen at Burning Man. Over here in the back, we're going to use this as our attachment point to bring our fabric down so we can give them a door so they can go in and out, get some breeze. And actually, while we're on that subject, each one of these panels are all going to have windows that can open up and have a mesh screen, so if they want to open up and let the breeze in, they can do that. So just inside the shade structure, behind door number 1, Right here we have our Mr. steam generator that's in the process of being wired into 240 volt and being plumbed in the way that it needs to make sure that steam shower will operate correctly. Oh yeah, and by the way, this generator that this vehicle had was not set up to handle 240 volts. So we had to grab a whole new generator. And while we were in the process of figuring out how that was gonna fit, we realized that wasn't gonna be able to be serviced unless we built a tray to go underneath it and make that whole unit slide out. Let's go take a look. Right here we have our 12,000 watt Onan diesel generator that's gonna go in and give him 240 volts so we can power up that steam shower and make sure it has enough power for everything else that's in the vehicle. We have to make a frame that's gonna go underneath the generator, and then we can install tracks on the side so that way that generator can come in and come out and you can service it. And then somehow we're gonna attach the front of the cap that we cut so it all goes in and it all looks like it was supposed to be that way. What you see here isn't just your standard workbench table. This is the floor of the slide out for the bedroom. We already have our cutouts, our rollers are here. We got our notches so it fits right inside of that bedroom so it can go in and out and give that customer as uniform of a platform as possible back in all the separate levels of the bedroom. We bought a standard hitch that's gonna pop up. We've taken off the bolts over here on the side of the hitch. We're gonna come out with more tube and tie into this, giving us a nice platform for a ping pong table. What you see right here where the yellow tape is, we've installed 1-inch plywood fiberglass inside of the cap, so when we make this part go up, we can tie it into that structure and make it strong, so that way it doesn't go like this when all 4 bikes are off the back. So right here is what used to be on the center of the cap. We've cut it, we've made it into individual pieces. As far as the bottom, the top was already an individual piece that articulated down and up so you had some access to what was behind the cap. You wouldn't have room to ever service the generator, so off of that frame, we're gonna come and we're gonna install our own frame right here so we can weld into that, and it's gonna go right on the front of the generator and gonna look something a little bit like this. What I mean by this is like this. This is what we're gonna sit there and kind of replicate in that situation, but it's gonna look something like this. And we're gonna put it over here. Let's take a look. So we came in, we cut this lower section off like I showed you over there, and we've modified it to try to make it so it can fit in, and then this part will flip up, all tying into the structure that's gonna mount to the bottom of that generator, so when we gotta change the oil or check the coolant, you actually can do it. Because when it was gonna go inside of there, this generator and the way it's serviceable is not serviceable in that location. Now that we've gone over everything that's going on the outside of this vehicle, let's show you the transformation that's going on inside. Right here, I'm trying to get an answer from the customer because when we made this overhead and we planned on that TV, I guess we were expecting a little bit smaller of a TV. So right now what I'm trying to find out is, does he really want a 40? Is he cool with the 32? If he's not cool with the 32, we're gonna have to cut and modify this overhead so we can make this 40-inch TV fit. And while we're talking about the overhead, what you can see right here on the ceiling is we've installed blocking, or strapping as they call it, that's gonna go underneath the panel that's gonna finish off the roof. So when we shoot our screws in, it goes into this metal and it'll give that frame structure and support so it doesn't fall down and travel. So right here we have our kitchen cabinet. And one of the other things that this customer wanted to do is he wanted to throw a lot of different colors of wood, because like when you're looking at some of these dojos and images online, you have lots of different colors of wood, which is what we're gonna have in this build. So right here we have just a clear on the alder. Right here is where you're gonna have all the drawers, your under storage, underneath the sink. Right here is gonna be your stove. We have that dark cherry stain over here, which is going to tie into what you see up here in the ceiling, where we have our alder and our reddish cherry stain on that alder, giving it the pops of color that this customer really wants. So part of this structure that we did right here was so that way we can make all of those roof vents and the speakers be uniform in one area. Over here is where we have our cutout for our roof vent, and over here in the front is where we're going to relocate those speakers that used to be right here into this area, giving it that nice streamlined look. We have our panel installed. We got our lights up. This is where our bench is going to be. We have an outlet over here for this refrigerator that we're still waiting on showing up. Hopefully it'll be here tomorrow, so we can't really build it until we have the unit here and we can confirm exactly what it says on the dimensions or exactly what we expect it to be. So this bench is all going to have that green tufted velvet. We're going to finish off the front of this slide out with a little bit of an incorporation from the ceiling, a little bit of incorporation from the colors of the valances, and we're going to install a nice big old dragon right in the center. Over here on the outer edge of the pantry, we have all of our wiring going on for our lighting. Right here is going to be the pantry. That's doubling as a tool cart right now. Down here, Mikey's installing all of our connections that are going to be housed behind the refrigerator, making it so if you ever have to move the fridge to gain access to any of those wires, you can, and it is accessible. Right here is going to be our broom closet and the cleaning supplies. Right here is going to be our built-in water cooler with hot, cold water, and it's going to give you ice. Right here is our 2 bunks. This is going to be the in and out area. On this side of the bunk, we're going to have 4 Japanese symbols that stand for love, peace, faith, and strength to complement this, tie into that Japanese dojo feel. And on the inside, they're gonna have their own TVs, they're gonna have their own USBs, and they're gonna have their own outlets, so that way in case they wanna charge their phone or do whatever they can. And again, they have their own storage and nooks over just off the foot of the bed, giving them plenty of room for all their stuff. Just in front of the bunk bed is where we're going to install our ladder that's going to be supported by this aluminum frame, which is also going to support the roof, because right here is going to be the access to get out and party on the roof deck. Okay, while we're talking about support, we wanted to add as much support as we could to help hold up that roof. So beyond this structure that's going to support the roof, we have a pillar over on this side. We have a support going all the way across, supporting that roof. We have 2 2x4s giving us support over on that side. We've made our aluminum structure go all the way over there. We have another 2x4 going up that way, another 2x4 going across, and 1 going down. And then this whole wall is all going to be strong, also adding support to that roof. Over here is the additional water tank that we've added. That's going to give them another 30 gallons. That's actually going to be pumped from here over into their freshwater tank. So that way, in case they run out, they hit the pump and give you a little bit more. Right inside of here, we've made all of our framing. We've added extra insulation, so that way when we create this into a steam shower, it's going to trap that heat. We're gonna finish this off with a super thin porcelain sheet that's gonna be solid from top to bottom, 1 on the back, 1 on the side, trying to make this be everything that that customer wants and make that wow factor that's gonna really complement the steam shower that's gonna happen inside of here. Just to the left of where the shower is a slide out. So that's what I was talking about. That floor that's out there that had those rollers installed is gonna go in, and it's gonna hide the fact that right here is gonna be our drain, and all of our plumbing and our wiring and our heater duct is all gonna live underneath the floor. And in that room, as you can see here, we're gonna have a booth and a sink, and it's gonna be complemented by some red velvet, giving it that nice high-end look. Right over here is where we have our closet. We're gonna have 2 mirror doors. You're gonna have 2 drawers, and right here is gonna be the base for the nightstand, and over here is gonna be the bed. Right here at the headboard, we're gonna wrap that red velvet and attach another dragon. One of the other things that we still have to do is all of this load center needs to get reworked so we can set it up for 240 and distribute the load evenly now that we've changed everything around. Like I was saying, when we're talking about that overhead that was going to go in the bathroom, it's going to house our motor that's going to power up the fan that's going to get attached to here, that's going to come off the exhaust vent that's going to be located right over here, sucking that steam out of the shower when it gets to the right temperature. Now that we've talked about everything that's going on the inside, let's go show you where we are on the roof. Right here we have our rubber installed, and you can see right here we have all of our 3 bolts that are coming up that are going to line up perfectly with the feet that are going to support the bottom of this deck that's going to live all in this area. Just in front of the deck that's right here, we have our roof hatch that you're going to come up, come out over there, give you a nice safe landing area before you enter on the deck. From up here on the roof area, you can really get an idea of how high that massive Burning Man tent is really gonna be. In front of the roof hatch, we have 2 of our solar panels. We're still waiting on the other ones. and we're trying to figure out how we're gonna get those other 6 panels to fit now that we've relocated the roof AC. And by the way, we ended up figuring out halfway through, oh, we needed another roof vent. So we put in another roof vent right here in between the AC. So in the front living area, in case they just want to turn on the fan, they can. And now we have enough room for all that solar. Another step that's definitely underway and is definitely a lot of work is all of these pieces that are going to finish off the inside and complement the dash and hide a lot of stuff up there in the bunk bed need to get rewrapped in the new color that we're going to make all the valances in. Here's a couple finished pieces in that new alpaca color that's going to tie into the new valance design. As you can tell, there's a lot going on. We still have a lot to do. We still have to paint this cap. We still have to put that window in. We still have to do all the flooring. We still have to finish the shower. We still have to finish this tent. And we have 2 weeks. So stay tuned, see if we can meet that deadline. Don't forget to click on that bell to get notified of future projects. Like, follow, and subscribe. Or if you're in Fontana, California, stop on by. Pour some sugar on me. Like, it's already the intro, not turned. All right, we gotta get this out of the way. Bam! And get nestled into bed for the late night lullabies. I gave it the good old fashioned power reset. Bam! Don't lick your fingers and stick it on the wires right there.